Welcome back to SportLab, your home for top-tier football breakdowns. Today we're diving into a huge result in the race for Champions League qualification as Aston Villa absolutely dismantled Newcastle United 4-1 at Villa Park. From Watkins' early opener to Onana's thunderbolt, this one had it all. Let's get into it.
In the manner that he does.
It was so honest, I think. But also, I think the interview there that'd be music to the ears of the manager, because competition for places within the squad is so key for getting the most out of each player, each individual player. And you see that most successful teams, they have 2 or 3 players in each position, and that'll be music for the manager.
I think it's a great example to young, aspiring footballers, even experienced players, that when you have some kind of adversity and when maybe the manager leaves you out, and in one of the biggest games of your life, let's be totally honest, quarter-final of a Champions League, he gets left out in those 2 games. He has shown an incredible attitude today and come out firing. That's not always the case. And he said it himself, and after a game, sometimes you probably talk more than you want, and he might reflect, I'll be really open there. But it was great for us, and it's great for everybody at home. But that's an insight into the ups and downs of being a footballer, because you asked me before the game, has he got something to prove? He has nothing to prove. He's a top player. He's scored so many goals for Aston Villa. But what you have to do when you get your opportunity, you have to show. You have to turn up, show up, play like you mean it. And he did that from minute 1. And as Matt rightly says, that's perfect for the manager, because you've got everybody firing, subs coming on wanting to make a difference. Because I see it week in, week out with some players, they get left out, they sulk, they don't want to get warmed up, don't want to play. He showed exactly the right attitude, and that's why he is a top performer. And they are very lucky to have somebody like that at their club, because not everybody would sort of carry that sort of authority when they talk, and that experience that he's got. And he's turned what was a massive negative in his life into a positive. And I think that's a real example to any footballers.
Absolutely, and he's going to have everyone talking about him again tomorrow. It's just a shame for him that he couldn't get those other chances past the woodwork to get past Agbonlahor at the top of that scoring chart. What was key, Jamie, was something that you mentioned, the battle with Cher. But Ollie Watkins' willingness to drift to the left-hand side, as we see so often for him, which caused Newcastle real problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the attacking areas, we said, I just asked, we've got great stats guys here, I just said, what was the attacking area, just out of interest, because it was obviously 3 of the 4 goals came from this. They were really getting into wonderful areas, and they had sort of John McGinn and obviously Ollie Watkins and Maatsen, who bringing him in was obviously a masterstroke, because he brought great energy to the game.
But for context, that is really unusual.
Incredible.
You don't see numbers like that.
No, absolutely. But you know that's great. When I said it was a masterclass by the manager, it absolutely was, because you've got to work, where can we get success today? And Ollie Watkins, straight away, as soon as you get a feeling against the player, and I'm sure you've had it, Matt, a couple of times, you play against the fullback, I've got him today. And other days it can flip vice versa. But Ollie knew from minute 1 that he could get hold of Fabian Schär, and he had him exactly where he wanted him, and he was playing with real fear today, Fabian, and we don't see Cher like that very often. And 1-0 was obviously a great example of it as well, because they started really well.
33 seconds, the goal.
Yep, and this is what I really like about this side, this Aston Villa side. When could it be a bit of a hangover? Absolutely not. But I look at this duel right here. We'll just play it a little bit. Between Jacob Murphy, right now, Jacob Murphy would normally be 70-30, that it's going to be his. But Youri Tielemans has gone, right, I need to set the tempo in this game from minute 1. And that's what you always want from your midfield. He goes in, wins a great tackle. Then he gets ahead of Guimaraes. Plays a ball down the line, and all of a sudden they're in business. There's Ollie Watkins. That was against Cher. Cher is already in trouble now. He sees that that's a bit of a problem for me. And they work on the next ball. As he said before, Tonali then plays the ball. Who does it fall to? This guy. And every time he gets the ball, Youri Tielemans has got this lovely habit of he knows where the ball is and his head is up. And he knows where everybody is on the pitch. Now, Ollie Watkins already knows that, as he mentioned himself, Tonali's going to play him on side. He's then going to come alive. Asensio is obviously going to make his run as well. Well, whether he played to Asensio or Ollie Watkins is almost irrelevant, but it's still the right pass. Now he's got his head up and he's got the time and he's always looking forward. Ollie takes that first touch. Yes, he gets a little bit of luck, as he said, but he certainly deserved it.
Definitely go in.
And we said before the game, he chases lost causes. He is a nightmare for any defender. Definitely going in, as we say. And as I mentioned, Youri Tielemans. Okay?
Ollie said.
Ollie said, yeah. It's definitely his goal. But that pass is perfect. Great first touch, second touch. and they were off. You know, and it was a really good start from Aston Villa.
I think Asensio's run makes the space for Watkins, and he takes the shot so early, it actually catches the defenders off guard. But Asensio's run, Fabi drops slightly a yard off of Watkins, and he chooses to take the shot so early, and they're not set.
Is that always a problem for a goalkeeper when you have a striker who can get a shot off?
Yeah,
early, as you say.
Yeah, I think Jermaine Defoe used to do it so well. I think one small touch and bang, and you're probably expecting him to take another touch there. As you can see, Fabi's going with Asensio and just gives him that yard that he needs, and you've got to give full credit to him. He played with real intent today. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Real setback.
Do you know what he played with today? He played with anger.
Yeah.
I've been there when you've been left out and you're fuming with a manager and you want to knock his door down. But it's all part of the game. And you've got to channel that anger in the right way. And that's exactly what he did today.
Newcastle was struggling. That was 33 seconds. There were a couple of moments after that where they could have found themselves in even deeper trouble before they managed to get the equaliser. So we do have to say, actually, they've done really well to hang in the game and then get a foothold at 1-1.
Yeah, they stayed in the game. I think, as I said, in half-time, I think they've got big game experience now. That showed in this moment. They knew it was a big game, and at 1-0, hung in there and managed to get back in the game with this. They worked tirelessly on regaining second balls, and a great ball from Barnsley and Fabi, a good finish. But from that moment, they'll be disappointed to then to go behind again. But
how important is this? I think because they're a very big side, aren't they? So I look at this. There's two players here. You obviously got Joe Linton and you've got Dan Burn. And then Fabian Schär has found himself into a really good position. You've got John McGinn at the back post, and then you've got Maatsen. Now, Konsa and Mings have to really follow Dan Burn, because Dan is obviously going to get attached to him. So I would say that's probably a great position that Fabian Schär picks up, and you know that's that mismatch at the back post if the delivery is right. Yeah,
for sure. That's worked on a second phase. Most teams will try and do it, as I said at half-time. Players will get attracted to the ball, and second phase, can you hit the back post? And more often than not, you'll find a mismatch as you do there.
A good delivery as well.
Yeah, it's great delivery. Barnsley's so reliable.
And you see Maatsen there. It's difficult for him. You can't do anything about it. But your two dominant centre backs, Mings and Konsa, are just attracted to Dan Burn, which happens a lot. And then you just got to say to Maatsen, can you somehow get hold of him, stop him in any way you can? So Fabian Schär was involved in this game from minute one, from attacking perspective and obviously defensive one.
What was the thought process around the Villa game plan, do you think?
Well, they were. When I watch a lot of games now, we all talk about philosophies in football and managers and coaches having their own style of play. But I look at football intelligence. I think to myself, right, when you're going to play against a side like Newcastle that are probably the best at pressing, why on earth are you going to play into your midfield two, maybe Kamara or Yuri Tillemans in here, when you are going to get pressed? You can see that Joe Linton is locked onto Kamara. Guimaraes is just being smart. He's going, go on then, you play that ball to him and I'm going to be all over you like a rash. You can see there that there's not really a can play out. They've got Konsa, Barnes has gone on to Konsa, and Isak has gone on to Mings. Now, I think the smartest thing in the world is when you've got a three up front, if you're going to, rather than take that pressure and invite what happened to Crystal Palace in midweek, you've got that long ball here, and you've got a situation developing from minute one with Ollie Watkins and Schär. So they miss out this. There's no point. You're going to get caught. Let's be a little bit direct and let's work on that second ball. They get that first contact, and all of a sudden, then you get runners. Asensio runs in. They're really unlucky here. They end up hitting the crossbar. That's not playing long ball football. That's what I would call being really intelligent. Again, you get that first contact there. Another situation here. Now, you could play into the midfield too. You could see there, and we'll just highlight them. Joe Linton, he smells blood.
Is this what Matt, is this what Newcastle are waiting for and hoping for, the little slide ball into midfield?
All of Newcastle's success has been from pressing on the front foot, so organised in the press, and you have to give huge credit to Aston Villa because they just missed out the press. I think the first two goal kicks, they played short to maybe set Newcastle in a little bit, and then after that they played long. And I think in the clip before, Jamie showed that Fabian was maybe asking Sandro to maybe drop in and screen for him, but on the occasion he didn't. And in between here, you can see in between here where Trips is reluctant to go such a big distance to jump man for man. And it happens. Yeah, it happens really fast, and Rodgers does great to get turned and find the pass. But Tripsy's got a real decision on his hands there. Do I leave Fabi? I think Fabi's on a booking at this point.
Back on track in the fight for Europe this time round, and it was great to see Ollie Watkins smiling, and here he is waiting to talk to us. Congratulations, Ollie, on a brilliant performance. You were smiling at the end. It looked like you were snarling at the start of the game, but you came out of the blocks like Usain Bolt. What was going through your mind?
Yeah, I think obviously being out the team, no one's happy to sit on the bench when you're a professional player, and you always want to play in the starting lineup. Obviously, I found myself out the team for a few games, so today I was raring to go, and I wasn't going to let that opportunity slip. Being in the starting 11 again. So
give us an idea of what your mentality actually was then going into the game.
Well, we knew that Newcastle were going to go man for man, and for me personally, I like it when teams do that because obviously you're 1v1, so you're going to have a lot of duels, and then it's focusing on beating the defender you're up against, and then going from there. And I think I got the better of Shah today and gave him a tough time.
Ollie, Jamie Redknapp, congratulations, top performance. I was just about to answer that question. You seem to have, with Fabian Schär, like almost a one-on-one duel for 90 minutes, and he really struggled to handle you. When you get that feeling as a forward that you've got the better of your defender, it must give you so much energy.
Yeah, I think I've played against him quite a few times, and he's an unbelievable defender. He could have got the better of me today, and that's football. That's the way it works. But today was my day, and yeah, 1v1 at the back. Obviously, they had a lot of success previously, and obviously this season, jumping and going man for man and winning the ball back. We saw them doing it against Palace, and they scored 5 goals. So we didn't underestimate that, and the manager, told us that it was going to be difficult today. But if we won our duels, then it was all about me getting hold of the ball really and trying to bring people into play. And we knew we'd create chances, and it's nice to see that we put 4 past them.
You seem to get a lot of success down that left-hand side as well, and that's where your goal came from. Just talk us through it.
Yeah, obviously I've tried to play a 1-2 with Guinea, and Tonali's got back in, but he's then, I think, playing me onside because he was trying to clear the ball, I think. So it's not the cleanest of strikes, but sometimes the bobbly ones go in, and obviously a good start.
Just check it's going on target, Ollie.
VAR,
no, it definitely is. Definitely is. Definitely
VAR
is.
said yes. You're okay on it, Ollie.
Yeah, definitely is.
You're getting it from us, mate. Don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you could have had a hat trick as well. Very unfortunate. Hit the crossbar, inside the crossbar, and then obviously the post with the header as well. You looked in great form today.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. I couldn't really do much more with this. I've tried to go high here.
Great strike.
And yeah, sometimes you see that hit the underside of the bar and bounce in, but and then obviously the header as well, just come off the post. But yeah, it didn't faze me. It was if anything spurring me on because I knew I was getting a lot of opportunities, and I believe that I was going to get a second or maybe a third. That didn't come, but I'm glad I could help the team to win here today.
Do you feel now that, obviously at half-time the game was very much in balance at 1-1, but your team has blown Newcastle away in the second half. Do you feel now that there are so many options within your squad, high-quality options that can take a game away from the opposition?
Yeah, I think since I've been at Villa, and a lot of Villa fans would say it's the best squad that we've had since we've been here. Obviously, the 2 or 3, 4 signings we made in January, players like Rashford and Asensio coming in, the quality is, it means players like myself and other players are going to have to drop to the bench, and there's going to be a lot of rotation. So I think the manager's got a little bit of a headache because I'm banging on his door saying why am I not playing. But yeah, I think it's a nice option for him.
Are you one of those, Ollie? Because I like that one. You got to ask the come on, Gaffer, why am I not playing? Are you one of those types of players?
Yeah, exactly. Look, Champions League, we've put in a lot of hard graft the last few years to get to that position. And obviously I played 20 minutes against PSG in both games. So, yeah, I'm not going to lie, I was fuming I weren't playing. And I let him know that. But he's the manager at the end of the day, and you've got to respect his decisions. So but I'm not one of these players that's happy to sit on the bench.
But that must just tell us a little bit more about that, Ollie, because that must be so tough. When you've been at this club, you've helped them get to this incredible position in the Champions League, and then to find yourself not in the starting lineup for those key matches. Tell us what that's actually like.
Yeah, I think it's something I haven't experienced before, and then obviously to miss out on the biggest stage, you always want to be playing, especially in the Champions League. So, yeah, I think me and a few others were disappointed that we didn't start the game. But like I said, it's the manager's decision. We did end up beating them, but obviously not across both legs. The team played really well, but I wanted to be out on the pitch much longer. I wanted to be starting in the important games because, like I said, I've played a big part to get to where we are today, and I want to be playing in them games.
But can you use that anger and that hunger to help Aston Villa get back there and have another crack at it with another top 5 finish?
Yeah, I think against Southampton, I came off the bench. Like I said, I was angry I wasn't playing, and I scored. And I think you've got to use that. Use that as motivation rather than let it hinder you. You've got to use it as motivation, use that anger, and kind of let it spur you on to to prove the manager different.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing unbelievable now. We've got a great home run, and we just need to keep winning these games. We got City away on Tuesday, very tough, and go for there. We've got to win all the games in front of us and aim for that Champions League spot.
Ollie, great performance again tonight, and Gabriel Agbonlahor, I believe, is breathing a sigh of relief because he's still up there with you. You couldn't quite see him off tonight.
No, I'm disappointed. He's still going to be on TalkSport, giving it the big one. But I think 5 games to go. It'd be nice to do that. I'd set my eyes on that target, since when I signed for the club, and not far away now. So. It's nice to be up there with obviously the top players that have played for this club, and I'm looking forward to when I break the record.
We wish you well, Ollie. Congratulations today, and for the rest of this season, we wish you the best of luck. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Cheers,
well
guys.
done, Ollie.
Ollie Watkins. I mean, how tough is that actually to do that when you've obviously got a lot going on in your head?
Villa fans were celebrating just 33 seconds in. Yes, 33. Ollie Watkins pounced after some high pressing, and his deflected strike left Nick Pope helpless. That's Watkins' 74th Premier League goal for Villa, drawing him level with club legend Gabriel Agbonlahor at the top of their all-time PL scoring chart. But Newcastle hit back quickly. Fabian Schär, after that unlucky deflection for the opener, made amends with a header from a pinpoint Harvey Barnes cross. 1-1, and we had a game on our hands. Watkins was relentless, twice denied by the woodwork before half-time. But Villa's dominance eventually told after the break. First, Ian Martson scored his first ever Premier League goal. Powerful finish across goal after a slick assist from, you guessed it, Watkins. Then came the chaos. Jacob Ramsey's cross ricocheted off Dan Burn and into his own net for 3-1. Villa's pressure was unrelenting, and it got even better when Amadou Onana, off the bench, unleashed an absolute rocket into the top corner to make it 4-1. Ollie Watkins was the heartbeat of everything positive for Villa. He didn't just score, he assisted, pressed, and tormented Newcastle's defence. This was a performance of a top-tier forward, right when Villa needed him most. And what about Unai Emery's tactical masterclass? Villa's subs, Onana, Malan, Rashford, Barkley, and Ramsey, added energy and control. This team is deep, and they now sit 6th in the Premier League, just 2 points off Newcastle in 3rd. Meanwhile, Newcastle's 5-game winning streak is over, and this was a real reality check. They looked leggy, outpaced, and overwhelmed. Maybe that 5-0 midweek demolition of Palace took more out of them than we thought. Villa, 5 straight PL wins. Watkins, 74 Peter Lita's goals, joint club record. Onana, first-place goal for Villa. Newcastle, 4 goals conceded after 3 clean sheets. So, Aston Villa lay down a serious marker in the Champions League race. And with a trip to Man City up next, the momentum is real. Can they keep this run going? And is Newcastle slipping just at the wrong time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you loved this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a moment in the Premier League drama. This is SportLab. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.